It's time. 6 hours, maybe even 7, going through, chiseling it down, adding the outsides, all that jazz. I had to take some severe creative liberties because unfortunately there's no such thing as client objects and I wasn't able to build ladders. And so I decided to go with what I thought was fun. Hope you enjoy my showcase of Minecraft's Tower of Difficulty chart. So we start off with the easy floor. By the way, I will be all jumping this, as some of the later floors are a lot harder than I was hoping. I have not yet beat a soul-crushing difficulty in Juke's Tower. I guess now it's Eternal's Towers of Hell. And so I built this on that premise that I guess the physics are different and everything. But yeah. And the cool part about Minecraft and this mod that I'm using is because the actual map is smaller. I am inside of wool blocks right now, for reference. Whenever you go into the outside sections, it kind of looks like a green screen. Alright, they're in the hard now. You can see the effect as you walk outside. It really just looks like a green screen. And now we get the 3-block vertical jumps. I cheated. Can't believe I cheated. Now we're on to... I can never remember what comes next. I think it's difficult, then challenging, but I could be wrong. But whatever the bright red is, that's the section that we're on now. And what I'm doing is the intended route. I don't know if I'll publish this, upload it anywhere, but there are definitely a bunch of skips that not only you could find, but I've also added in. And now we're on the other one. I like to say that this one is difficult. I always like to say that challenging is first. Also, this is where we start coming across Neo jumps and 4-block jumps. The Neo jumps I added in because you're going to have to get used to those if you plan on beating this. Now, just got to do the 4-block, and then I think this is another 3-block vertical. Yep, and then we got another outside section. This one's relatively simple if you can chain 3-block verticals together. If you can chain the 3-block verticals pretty well, you're set for this section. Also be careful of the head hitters. And then after that you get to the intense section. I did follow suit with normal tower of difficulty chart in EToM. So there is I say full net, but there is an outside section I had to do because I can't do corner flips in this, nor spinning platforms or client objects. Minecraft is a little lame like that. But I don't know if you can see anything because it's all in a black wool block and it's really hard to see. But yeah, you got a back-to-back Neo jump. I really did abuse 3-block vertical jumps. And then here we've got the outside section. Should be relatively easy to remember where this was as I flew by it on the outside. It's actually quite hard to chain all these jumps together now that I think about it and do it. Ooh, we get rain gameplay. This isn't even the hardest spot. This is all... Alright, I'm gonna be honest with something if we can get up to the remorseless section relatively soon. But for now, you get to suffer with the knowledge that I'm not telling you everything. Oh, come on. Also, fun fact, because of the mods that I'm using, some of the creative liberties that I get to take are using the portals. So as you saw on the way in, you had the big 16 block portal that allowed you to shrink down to actually fit into all of this. And I designed it after Tower of Difficulty chart. At least the new version that has insane and extreme put together. Now, we've hit the remorseless section. Now, I'm going to be honest, I had a few playtesters go through. I've already tested every jump to make sure they're all possible, and they are. But I had playtesters go through and play through this. I only required them to complete up to here, because I went all out with this remorseless section. You got that really fun 3 block into 4 block into 4 block diagonal into another 4 block. Then you've got this fun one, which one of my playtesters said that was their least favorite jump. It's a 4 block diagonal jump, and it is probably the hardest jump in the tower. Even though there's still 3 more floors after this to do. Come on, we got this, we can do this. Just takes a few attempts. Come on. I gotta get right on the corner, like so. Come on. I say like so and I don't even get it. There we go. And then you've got their second least favorite jump overall from all my There we go. I honestly don't like that jump. I see where playtesters came from. See, in 1 block Neos are so much easier after you complete the 2 block. And like I said, maybe if I didn't cut that part out, that's the only required 2 block Neo for the playtesters to do. So we then do those. Oh, I thought I could do that first try. It would have been so awesome. 2 4 block jumps in a row, and you get to the extreme and insane. Now, in reality, none of my playtesters had to do that. I allowed them to go out here, and it was optional for them to do the last 3 floors. But I'm going to do the last 3 floors for you, because I put time and effort into them. So an interesting fact about the chisels mod, which I used for this section, is if you build your chisels on top of an ice block, you retain the ice physics. And I use that to my advantage here by building this entire section themed around the ice blocks and ice physics. Now we get to the harder jumps. I'd say that insane section right there was 100% easier than the remorseless section. But it does get harder later on. Especially like starting here where you've got this kind of dumb 2 block wrap. Then you've got a 4 block vertical after a 4 block ice jump. Now, if you were to play this legitimate, there is this net and there's a hole for you to get through back to the other side. I'm not playing this legitimate though, as much as I would love to. I honestly should verify this legitimately, but for now this is just a showcase. And you do a few 4 blocks in order to get back into the tower. Gotta do 1 more. This is a 2 block, I think, vertical wrap. The difference between a wrap jump and a Neo, for those who aren't very versed in Minecraft parkour terms, is a Neo is along a line, while a wrap is going around a wall. Now we come to what I call the last trial. I've made a bunch of jumps, each scaling harder and harder in difficulty than the previous, leading up to this Neo, darn it! That was almost so perfect. This Neo, oh, I'm not even gonna try. It's a 2-block Neo, like the remorseless one earlier. For some reason I can get that one more consistently though. And then the last one is the most difficult in my opinion, and it's a Neo vertical, in which I have to wrap around the wall while going up a block. And there we go. And then there's this one little, like, test you section. Test your stress if you were playing this legit. If you fail any of those jumps, you have to start all over again. Then, here's where I took creative liberty. There's a portal. There's a hidden portal here that takes you back to the other side of the tower. So if you look, there's the tower, we're all the tower. And here's the first sign. Welcome to the final stretch. You must do 4 challenges. Good luck. This is where the stress really comes to get you. So, you all know how floor 9 is the hardest floor in Tower of Difficulty chart, correct? I'm assuming you do. Well, I took that literally, and also took inspiration from Tower of Double Trouble, and I separated this entire floor 9 into 4, well technically I guess 3, extremely difficult challenges, and 1 test your nerves at this point challenge. The hardest part about this one is the abuse of the 2-block Neo verticals, which I honestly didn't even realize that I implemented until I had playtesters go through. So yeah, you keep going up and up. Love abusing 3-block verticals. Love abusing 1-block Neo verticals. Oh, trust me, you're gonna see a lot more of this tech. There's one last jump for this first section, and it's a wrap. It's a really difficult, I'd say, 2-block corner wrap. I don't actually know the proper term, but you go around that corner block right here, and you fall. Welcome to room 2. If you fall at any point in a legitimate run, your fate is sealed. You have to get back up here. Luckily, the actual sections below aren't too difficult. I'm thinking about putting a net to the final trial, just to be nice to people who actually want to try a legitimate run. So we got a few head hitters here. The head hitters are the star of this section. A head hitter is like a head hitter in Roblox, but instead of trying to go vertically, you're trying to go horizontally while avoiding hitting your head. I built these ones into the wall. Got another Neo vertical. This one you don't get any chance to build up your momentum. You just have to do a raw 1-block Neo vertical, which isn't even the hardest jump here, I don't think. The hardest jump was definitely the one earlier in the remorseless section, but the second hardest jump, I'm gonna say, is the last jump in the catastrophic section. However, this is the third hardest jump. I decided to be mean and build a head hitter Neo jump. And I have tested it. You cannot cheese it. You have to do the head hitter Neo. Now the thing about the head hitter Neo, why did I say it like that? The thing about the head hitter Neo is it's all looks, no show. It's surprisingly easier than it looks. You just have to get the timing right, which I almost had right there. The hardest part is definitely getting outside the head hitter range. See? It's all show, all bark, no bite, is how the saying goes, I believe. Alright, and then 2 more jumps. Boom, you're on the last section. I hate to have to say this because this is a showcase. This is a troll. You cannot make a raw 4-block vertical jump. You have to fall into this fake safety net. In which, technically if you fall, it's not a safety net, but who cares about that? What you want to do here is jump around, up and around. Doing a few 3-block verticals, you do a 2-block wrap, up, a couple of head hitters. The main gimmick with this section is the wall that's in the middle. Now, not only am I taking pretty direct of a reference from Tower of Difficulty chart in EToM, I am also taking inspiration from YouTuber Evbo's Parkour Civilization, which I watched around the time it came out, and the most famous meme that came out of it was, would you rather jump for the chicken or would you rather jump for the beef? I'm forcing you to do, if you get the reference here, I'm forcing you to do a beef jump. You cannot be a chicken about it. Then here's the test your nerve spot. Relatively simple. Make that really long jump. Go around here. There's one last vertical Neo before you get to the fully netted section that is catastrophic. Now, gonna be honest, I got lazy with the catastrophic section, and you'll see why in a second. For now, let's read the signs. Through all your challenges, you persevered. And now, one final test. A test of skill, effort, and endurance. Ever watched Parkour Civilization? Now, this is pretty much the victory room. Although you're not technically done with the tower yet. Because as you climb up these stairs, get to the spiral in the center, you go up all the way out through the top. And you get to end with one final jump, which is quite possibly the hardest jump in the tower. I could be wrong though, it could be one of the ones in the remorseless section. You have to do like the end of Parkour Civilization Chapter 1 is where my reference came from. You have to do a 3-block Neo jump, which is the equivalent of a 3-block jump, but you have to wrap around a wall. Now, this is definitely going to take me a bunch of attempts, so expect a cut here. As, well, if you've seen a 3-block Neo, you'll know why. I had to look up a tutorial on how to set this up. Luckily, I'll show you real quick if I fall. This section is technically fully netted. So if you fall that way, you'll end up on the diamond blocks. If you fall the other way, you'll end up inside the catastrophic box. Now the reason I decided to end it like this is because it's a cheeky reference to Parkour Civilization, as well as it is the hardest jump that I know a human being could technically make. Because not only do you have to know how to do a neo jump, you have to know how to control your character. You need to have the tempo, aka the beats per second, beats per minute, BPM, of actually jumping and keeping your momentum in order to go around the wall. Now these are raw attempts. I am not necessarily the best parkourist, but I will say I have verified every jump in the tower, including this one. Slowly turn the camera, slowly turn the camera, slowly turn the camera. There we go! There we go! You saw that I landed. You saw that I landed. I actually, I have verified that jump. It is possible. That's the final jump you have to do. But let's do the bit of a funny. As you can see, congrats! But aren't we missing something? This is technically the Tower of Difficulty chart, right? There's a few more difficulties that we're missing. Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna try those. Those are for another time. That is my Minecraft version of Tower of Difficulty chart. 7 hours of building, another hour of verifying, and another 2 hours of playtesting are put into it. And all in the span 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 blocks tall. Technically speaking. If you times that by 16, you get the actual count because I built inside the blocks. But we don't count those. We just count the fact that it's actually 14 blocks tall and ends with 2 4-block Neos, which aren't physically possible. I'm hoping to find out a way to get this uploaded alongside the mod pack. But for now, this is the, I don't know if it's the definitive, but it's my definitive Minecraft Tower of Difficulty chart. Thank you.